do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film.
Big Meech believed he was making a boss move by partnering with Rick Ross, but now he is discovering the hard way that loyalty in this game isn't a fairy tale. After betraying 50 Cent and siding with Rick Ross, Meech was fresh out of prison when he discovered betrayal waiting for him outside. At first, Rick Ross was showing him a lot of love and even promised to help him get back on his feet. But as soon as that deal fell through, Rick Ross wiped his hands clean and ran immediately back to the same man he was beefing with, and now he is standing 10 toes down by himself. Betrayed by the same man he thought was solid, realizing the streets aren't moving as they used to.
Never told, never will. Yeah.
But why would Rick Ross treat Big Meech like that, and is 50 Cent the one behind the scenes? This story is going to get messy, so let's get started. Big Meech is feeling that in real time after being locked up for years, thinking he was going to make a big comeback, but instead he's stuck in a lose-lose situation where no one is helping him. The same man who turned his back on 50 Cent is now eating off the BMF brand, while he ran to Rick Ross, acting as though he had never met him. But here's the worst part: despite Rick Ross moving like a snake whispering in Meech's ear, attempting to turn him against 50, he may have actually done 50 the greatest favor of all because, let's face it, if Meech could switch on 50 so quickly after everything 50 did to salvage his reputation with the BMF show, then perhaps he was a bad seed waiting to reveal his true colors. Now that rumors are circulating, Meech is frantically looking for someone to blame for the failure of his legacy concert and wondering why no one is hurrying to get him back on his feet. And who better to do so than Rick Ross, who was only interested in humiliating 50 Cent and stealing the entire BMF legacy for himself.
Away from the Big Meech concert, get your tickets right now. Make sure everybody flying to the city for this. It's gonna be huge. Look, I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film.
But as soon as things began to appear uncertain, how deep does this betrayal really run? 50 Cent is sitting back and watching all of this go down with a smirk, knowing that he got rid of a snake without even having to lift a finger. Word on the street is that 50 Cent may have even helped shut down Big Meech's Welcome Back concert. Ross disappeared, leaving Meech stuck out with nothing. Today, Meech is trying to act like the victim, but let's face it, he played himself.
Y'all gonna be disappointed when Lil Baby don't show up? When Skilla don't show up? When Vizzo don't show up? And all these.
But let's keep it above. Why would 50 even have to act in such a way when Meech was already positioning himself to fail? The snitching rumors were already in the air, the concert was becoming desperate rather than legendary, and if there's one thing 50 is good at, it's sitting back and letting his enemies do all the work for him. Just 2 hours before the show was scheduled to start, the Amara Bank Arena abruptly announced that tonight's show was canceled due to unforeseen circumstances. There was no warning or explanation, just plain humiliation from Meech. And guess who was watching it all happen as if he already knew exactly how it would end? 50 Cent.
Big
Before
Meech's
this giant welcome home concert
I told you it was
was
gonna get
canceled.
What'd I tell you?
The bill was
What did I
insane.
say?
50 was out there telling people that the concert wasn't happening before it was even announced. And now that he's been proven correct, he's back to being the petty villain that only he can be. As soon as the cancellation happened, he posted the flyer as if it were a platinum plaque, with a slick caption that might as well have included a cigar and a gold chain. I had nothing to do with this, so please stop calling my phone. I genuinely hope you enjoy your day today. Cheers to Valentine's Day. If you think I've gotten stronger, you're mistaken. A whole bridge in Brooklyn to sell you because when a fan called him out for shutting down the entire event, 50 reposted it and said, "I apologize for your trip to Miami. But I've been playing with me, so you know, let's build when." In response he said, "If you bought an outfit and were ready to turn up, I apologize for whoever's responsible. Let's get to date now, come on." That's definitely supervillain behavior. When you all return to the city, 50 are playing chess while everyone else is still figuring out how to roll the dice. Meanwhile, Big Meech is out there frantically trying to find someone to blame, but the truth is that he did this to himself. Rick Ross set him up, 50 cleaned his hands, and now Meech is standing here by himself without a legacy concert, crew, or anyone willing to come clean up his mess. At the end of the day, Meech has nothing left. Yes, he had a prison, but 50 was done with him, no more loyalty, no more support, and most definitely no more backing for the BMF family. And let's not overlook the family's primary provider, Little Meech, recently got laid off. To keep the concert running, Lil Meech attempted to use the 50 loyalty card, but that ploy failed. The cancellation of BMF Season 4 makes it easy to understand why 50 recently revealed Lil Meech's private text, and now everyone is discussing it in the messages. In an attempt to appear faithful, Lil Meech claimed he would give his father his back, while still defending his relationship with Rick Ross. However, the most outrageous aspect was when Lil Meech openly acknowledged that Ross was the one who was fronting Big Meech money to keep. I would give you this shirt off my back. I can't believe this man acts like I'm your enemy. I've only ever shown you love and loyalty. I go through my struggles, but I never betrayed you. His bills were paid until the next season of BMF was supposed to air. They just told me that you unfollowed me on Instagram and that you are now managing Skill, a baby with Rocket, when I brought him around you first when you didn't even know who he was. Ross, but to help my dad pay his costs until the start of our new season, he handed him some bread. Big Meech didn't only support. Even though it was 50's biggest op, he now completely relied on Ross to keep him afloat. Ross played the long game by giving money to Meech, while also keeping him at odds with 50. The game even made fun of Lil Meech for not sticking by his father, and asked why he wasn't as devoted to the BMF legacy. I was moved to tears when I saw a text message from Little Meech to 50. Hey Little Meech, you were meant to say, F you this BMF, and I'm rocking with my pops. However, that is on hold while I publish this because my fiancé and I are currently having our problems. People were spitting out their drinks when 50 retaliated, asking what the gangster man had done and what your little gun would accomplish. While Ross pulled the strings, 50 watched from the sidelines as the BMF empire collapsed in real time, and 50 simply let nature take its course, as everyone witnessed this concert crashing and burning long ago. Big Meech, you're just going to let 50 get at you like that? 50 can't do anything but sit back and watch his enemies destroy themselves. This whole situation is way past some snitching rumors. Everyone but the Meeches experienced it. The one person who was meant to uphold the family name, Lil Meech, is now out here abandoning the man who provided him with a career, a platform, and a lifeline while his father was imprisoned. Rather than remaining steadfast, he became entangled in the chaos, and now he finds himself in the midst of a conflict that he could have completely avoided.
A stand-up dude doing his time would suddenly say, I don't want to be here no more. I'm gonna become.
In the meantime, 50 Cent isn't letting up and is coming straight after Big Meech as a father, criticizing him for how he messed up Lil Meech's future. Some old video of Lil Meech having a good time with Rick Ross's daughter, Toy Roberts, just appeared, and 50 didn't waste any time with insults. He asked why Rick Ross, who suddenly wanted to play Meech's best friend, didn't defend Lil Meech when it really mattered. Ross and everyone around Big Meech haven't done a single thing for Lil Meech, even though he was the one who paid for his acting school and got him into the game. He also called Meech out for having a skewed set of priorities, claiming that instead of focusing on his son's future, he came home acting like Pablo Escobar and ended up ruining everything. This isn't just no-war beef, it's outright betrayal. Despite the full support of the 50s, Big Meech made a decision that left him in the dark, and now that the damage is done, 50 is clarifying it that he doesn't forget anything. This whole Rick Ross situation is only escalating the feud, which dates back to 2008, with lawsuits involving diss tracks, and even the case where 50 had to pay $7 million last year. Ross took another stab at 50, acting as though he broke it, but if history is any indication, 50 doesn't let anything go, and neither does Jane.
Best friends, which is Demetrius Lenore.
This may be the final season of BMF, a show connected to his $150 million star deal. Most people would be tired of losing out on that kind of money, but 50 is always thinking 5 steps ahead. He built it once, and he'll do it again because once you cross him, there's no turning back. This is where things start to look pretty suspect, and 50 isn't pulling those snitching rumors out of thin air. There was already chatter that Meech flipped, and that was smack in the middle of it, before 50 even put it on blast. Meech believed Tammy Cowens to be a close friend, but Tammy was also a federal informant. It is said that Tammy was instrumental in helping Meech strike the bargain that reduced his sentence by years, but let's face it. Meech would not be leaving prison early without giving the Federal Reserve something substantial. And that item was his business partner and right-hand man, Diane Gatling, also known as Cuffy.
On that time, Meech reached out to my dad in regards.
When Cuffy's daughter, Tora Gatling, learned that Meech was the one who set up CFE, their entire family was taken by surprise. Cuffy and Meech had been shut in for years, operating their business together before Meech was sent away.
Plan would do. You know, I'm gonna say that much. Over and out. I'll catch y'all with.
By identifying one of the case's confidential informants and guessing whose name kept appearing in these documents, they began to piece the puzzle together. Big Meech, but it doesn't end there, it gets much worse. It turns out that Meech personally connected Cuffy with Tammy Cowens. And Tammy wasn't just any random woman at the time. She had power of attorney over Meech and actually controlled the rights to his life story. Cuffy trusted his day one friend. When those discovery docs began to circulate, it became evident that Tammy Cowens was the confidential informant for CS1. However, let's be honest, Tammy wasn't making moves without Meech's approval. When the Gatling family questioned Meech about it, he dismissed it as if there had been a major mix-up. But the more they investigated, the more the truth came to light. Have been the ones wearing the wire, but there's no way she was acting alone. In the end, Meech walked away clean while Cuffy got jammed up, demonstrating that all of the talk about brotherhood is meaningless when the feds start to knock. Despite this, people are still going out of their way to defend Meech, right on questions. In an attempt to save his reputation, young Buck got into the conversation and tried to cap for Meech.
Not because of 50, it's because of Big Meech, right? That's his story, that's his life, right? So I don't think 50 doing him no favors. They both profited.
50 Cent doesn't give second chances, if that's what we know about him. His reaction was heartless. He didn't waste any time in bringing up young Buck's past troubles. This idiot and I had a falling out because he loved the boys 50 uploaded. I didn't tell him to go out with a lover. Since he was so busy, he couldn't resist. Now the haters are out in full force, accusing 50 of inciting turmoil to ruin promotions. But when you look at the larger picture, who is really benefiting from all of this chaos?
I owe you no loyalty. That mean I can't go get money elsewhere, right? If more money get presented to me, right, I'm gonna go get me a bag. I just did 20 years in prison, right? I'm not gonna let nobody stop no bags come in because of y'all.
The BF name was stacked with serious threads from both sides. The Big Mia story became a TV series, solidifying his legacy for a whole new generation. Meanwhile, Lil Meech had a career that simply would not have been possible without 50's support. But somehow 50 is the one receiving all the criticism for speaking out about what's real.
And today I'm coming to tell all my supporters, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, wherever you got, you trying to make it go up.
The heart of it, this whole situation isn't about promotion or clout. It's about loyalty. And if people know anything about 50 Cent, it's that he doesn't play about betrayal. He held the BMF family together, gave Lil Meech a chance, and made him more than just his father's son. But the moment it was convenient, they turned on him. Now 50 is clarifying it that there is no turning back, and Lil Me is already feeling terrible about how he fumbled the bag after everything 50 did. paying for acting school and establishing his entire career while Big Meech was jailed. The fact that Lil Meech changed his mind again and is now paying the price shows how terrible it is. This whole situation is turning into one of the most outrageous hip-hop betrayals we have witnessed in a minute. Lil Meech, who was living large on the BMF sets, is now out there begging for paid promotions for $500, which isn't even rent money compared to those fat cheeks 50 was blessed with. One minute he's in Hollywood, and the next he's out here working side gigs to keep the lights on, and you all already know that 50 isn't letting that go. It looks like the entire BMF legacy is collapsing in front of us, but what do you think? Did Big Meech do this to himself by turning on his people, or is 50 simply putting the truth out there that people have been too scared to say? Please share your thoughts in the comments section and remember to hit the like button and subscribe for all the latest tea. It seems like loyalty was everything until the same people he trusted started riding both sides.